Hello there.
General Kenobi.
I am the Herbwizard. Welcome to the shop. Welcome in my man cave. Today we're going to make the gauntlets of the Mandalorian. I'm going to start off with some few basic shapes. I'm gonna finish with the gauntlet. The program I am using is Fusion 360. This is a special modeling software created for little manufacturers, hobbyists and such. Firstly, I'm going to make a little cube. So you can see here, this is your origin point. I can set the home view. With this cube I can switch views, right, front, top. I'm going to start to make a sketch. A sketch is just a 2D drawing inside Fusion. I'm going to select this view. First I'm going to select a cube, center rectangle, click here in the middle, up, up. I'm going to make this 80 millimeters on 80, finish sketch. Now the cool thing about this is additive manufacturing, which means that you can create shapes and explode them. You start with nothing and you add pieces until you have the full piece you want. So I'm going to select extrude and our rectangle, and now we can make a cube in the direction we want. I'm going to make this 80, so we have a cube of 80 on 80 on 80 millimeters. On the top of this I want to make an extra piece, so I'm going to select this side, create sketch. Then here we have a circle. I'm going to make this 70 millimeters in diameter. Alright, gonna finish this sketch, extrude, select only this and extrude upward for 40 millimeters. So now we have a little cube with a circle on top. I'm going to make a shell. It's really convenient if you want to create masks or hollowed out parts, like a gun that needs electronics inside of it. So I'm going to select the bottom part, modify, shell, click the bottom part. I want to have a shell of 10 millimeters, and now you can see a hole. Also the top cylinder is also hollowed out. That's nice to have. And now we have, it looks like a Lego brick. So that were the basics of Fusion 360. I highly recommend you follow the tutorials of Fusion 360 itself, because they're really helpful in creating your own models for 3D printing. I will now create the gauntlet in Fusion 360 itself. I'll also give a voiceover on how I did certain parts. So I started with a sketch of a rectangle. I inserted some of the sizes. Next up I am extruding this shape. On both sides I created a sketch on the top. Those are the sides that need to be cut off. One side symmetric, whoop, cut. So I created some rectangles on the top view. We're going to extrude those. First the big shape, then the smaller shape, and next the really small cube. So you can see here it's like a staircase, but we had to do it in different steps because they are different heights. Next I created a sketch on the top of the small square here. I created a few holes on each side in a pattern-like figure. Those are all the holes that need to go up for the buttons on the gauntlet. Next we extrude them. Alright, so now we have a cube. I want to have the rounded edges on top. So I'm going to create a circle and then extrude that circle along the surface. I also want the shape to come out on the top a little, so I'm going to create a sketch on this plane. You can see that here. So I created this sketch and I'll just extrude it upwards, like so. Next up, I'm going to create the cone shape on top where all the little needles are. I'm going to create a few fields in front of each other and then connect the sides to one another. So I'm creating a circle here. I'm going to extrude it until it comes to the edge of the circle. So next I'm creating a plane offset to that circle. Smaller circle inside. I'm going to connect the two circles. So next I'm going to do the same. Another plane, extrude it, create a circle, connect the circles, and so on. Last one. And this one is going into a point, not into a circle. I want to create the holes for the needles to go in. So I'm going to select the front view. Create the little spheres, then extrude those inwards so we have the needles in here. So now the top starts to look like the gauntlet, but the sides are a little too corny. So I'm going to round them off like this. I want on the side of the gauntlet to have a raised bar. I'm going to draw a sketch on the bottom half. You can see that here. It's a rectangle shape with lots of lines in it. Next I'm going to extrude it upwards, like so. Now you can see the cube part is sticking out here, that's not so great. So I created an intersect. An intersect means everything between the two shapes is going to be left over. Everything else, discard it, never look at it again. So the shape is starting to look really nice now. Now we just need to round off some edges. Make some curves in it, some chamfers, some more general sculpting I did on the side here. So the last part is we need to hollow it out so we can put our arm into it. I created a big circle on this on the back side, the same on the front, and we're going to connect them with a loft. But what we can see here, there are two parts sticking out, so I just extruded the back side some more. So now we have two bodies, this one and this one. I'm going to unite them and cut off the second body, and now we have our gauntlet. Now that we saved the file as an STL file, we're going to open Slicer, because we need to take the model, change it to layers so we can send it to the printer so he knows what to extrude where. Alright, Prusa Slicer opened. I'm going to add. Now I'm going to click Slice, and now it will create all the layers for us. So now that it's done slicing, we can see all the layers here. You can also see what the printer will make. The green lines are the support structures, so we can see it go up, go up, go up. Now we can start to see some infill here. So this will take 10 hours and 30 minutes to print, and it will use 134 grams of filament and cost about 3 euros. Export G-code. Now we have a G-code, save that and send it to the printer. Voila, the 3D prints are ready. Now I know it's a little small for my arm, but this was just a test print to see if all the nooks and crannies are correct and to see if we can glue it together. Also for a paint test and everything, I'm going to use this first before we step over to the finished product. Next step we need to do is to glue these two together. For this we can use Superglue. Now we can speed up the process. I want to create a little window in this 3D printed piece. So for that I'm going to use a soldering iron. You can also use a Dremel, but I like a soldering iron because it melts the plastic so it stays strong. That's not great. It's a little too small. Luckily, I already printed the bigger parts, so it looks much better now. So this one is the one we modeled. I'm going to tape it off and use Plasti Dip for a primer. The next thing I'm using is a carbon varnish. It's a special varnish they use on carbon bikes after they sand it to get a real smooth texture again. So now the varnish has dried for a bit. We can use Alclad 2, special from the cosplay shop. It's the chrome edition and we're going to airbrush it on our pieces. Now everything has dried, it's nice and shiny. Next step is connecting each other with some Velcro. So I'm taking 4 strips of the soft Velcro that I'm cutting in two. I'm going to glue these to the sides of the 3D print. Just to ensure that the edges don't come loose, I'm gluing them with some hot glue. Also in the center of one of the 3D printed parts, I'm going to glue another soft part of the Velcro. This is to attach to the arm later on in the build. Alright, these are the only parts that's gonna be 3D printed next to the rifle. So next video I'm taking a break of creating the armor and I'm going to make Baby Yoda. It will be a commission with 3 people, so give a thumbs up, comment in the comments, share and like this video. Don't forget to subscribe and see you in the next one.